When I first came down here many, many years ago, there were some local Democrats in my township and also in Sea City in the area that reached out to me and knew that, in all honesty, I liked people and I was interested in government and public policy, and asked me to get involved and asked me to run. And at the time I said, I'm quite moderate. Is that okay? And they said, absolutely. This is the big tent. This is the Democratic Party I believe in, by the way. This is the big tent. So there is room in here for blue dogs. There's room in here for people that are very liberal. There's room in here for moderates, which are what most people are. Most people are a little left of center, a little right of center, or in the center. That's the reality. It's a bell curve. So they were good people, and I did get involved. One of them was Allison Murphy's grandfather. And, again, he was a blue dog and he was a, hard-working guy and believed in hard-working values. And that's what attracted me so much to the Democratic Party back then. Fairness, the idea that somebody should get a fair wage when they're working at a job, that somebody should have health insurance, that somebody should have proper conditions when they're working in a job and be treated decently and with deference. And issues beyond that. You know what I mean? All the issues that we think of that are so important, Social Security, Medicare, etc., that we have a responsibility to our fellow Americans. Yet at the same time, I have always, and I'm proud to say now, I've been a capitalist, and I'm proud to be a capitalist, and I believe that's the nature of this country. I believe in our founding fathers. I believe in the idea of a constitutional republic and what we have here, and a democracy. So I believe in America, like all get out. This is the greatest nation on the face of the earth, and I believe in American exceptionalism. There are now some folks who almost don't believe in America, believe that America has seen its best days.
Who are those people? Are they on the left? Are they on the right?
There's some on the right and the left. Some on the right and the left. And sometimes that we've done everything wrong all the time, that we've always been harmful to other countries, and they forget about what we did in World War II, and they forget about what we do in every day and every way when we try to help so many other countries and so many other people. That's not the kind of Democrat that I am, to be honest.
Congressman, you appeared on Fox News a couple of weeks ago. The president actually tweeted his gratitude for your decision not to support an impeachment inquiry at this time. How has that impacted? How has that saturated the race that your allies are running at the state level right now?
I don't think it's saturated it too much. People do realize the difference between the state race and the local race. And they also, I believe, realize the connection that I have with these gentlemen, that this is not your normal candidate. This isn't somebody who's trying to make money because they're running for office, or somebody that's trying to make connections. They've all succeeded in their own way. They've all given back to America in their own way. They're an extraordinary group of individuals, and because of that, I'm very proud to endorse them. And I don't endorse people, by and large. I rarely get involved in that. I always think people should choose their candidates. So I think to maybe some degree it has a little, but not hopefully too much. As far as that, and I'd like to talk a little bit about, when the president saw me on television. I neither did that for him or at his request or at anybody's request. He was watching TV. He chose to say that. That's fine. And just like anybody else can say or do what they want to. Here's what I believe about impeachment, and this is really important to me. I know there are some areas of this presidency, without question, and I read the Mueller report from the very first page to the very last page, and more as I went along. I went back and looked at things, and it's far from perfect. I mean, I certainly don't think what this president has done has been exemplary in every way. I mean, we know that. And we know that the other documents that came out, which were a lot easier to read, by the way, weren't really, what we want to see necessarily all the time. But that doesn't mean you impeach. And an example that I will use right off the bat, one of the people I like is Bill Clinton. I was totally against his impeachment at the time. They went forward with it anyhow. And he had some serious issues. He didn't tell the truth, and he committed perjury, and he lost his license to practice law. So it was serious, and I do like him. But nevertheless, he was still not impeached at the end of the day, because impeachment is a level above that. You are disenfranchising the voters. You're taking their vote and saying it is worth nothing. Now, at times, when there really is a high crime or there is treason, that's appropriate.
Do you ever believe that impeachment has been properly invoked in this country? In other words, then we were going down that road with Nixon.
It would have been properly invoked with Nixon. If Nixon, they stole, they lied, they were caught, there's just so many different pieces to it. Yes, with Nixon, I do think that would have been the first and only proper impeachment. This is, hey, there's some things we don't like. A censure might even be appropriate, but the actual impeachment, and why is it bad? Because he's still going to be the president, because it's not going to go through the Senate. Why is it bad? Because he's still going to run for office, because he's going to be the candidate. Why is it bad? Because about 50% of the people who voted for him are going to believe that their vote was taken away by an elite group of people known as the United States Congress. Let the people impeach. Let the people vote. Let the people make the decision. We've only got a year to go. And in the interim, instead of all the hate and the vitriol and the, quite frankly, lack of any kind of real progress being made, let's work on the 3 or 4 issues that both the Speaker and the Senate and the President agree can be done. Areas like infrastructure, areas like health insurance, health care, and especially drug costs, areas like veterans and other issues that he spoke about. There's about 3 areas out of about 20 that need to be done that we can actually accomplish something and get something done in a bipartisan way. I'd like to see that happen in the next year. And that's not naive to think, and Mitch McConnell actually could kind of, lay off a little bit and make it a little bit easier if we were all working on the same page and the president said, no, I want to do this, Mitch McConnell's going to do it then. So I would think we would have that potential. That's what I believe.
Congressman, do you have a presidential candidate at this time? Joe Biden represents perhaps the closest thing to a blue dog Democrat in this field, I would argue, and yet he came out in favor of impeachment last week. Does he strike you as a good candidate for the party once the dust clears, or is it too early to say? What's your feeling about the presidency right now?
Joe Biden in his history has been a really bipartisan guy. If you follow Joe Biden, he has worked with a lot of people across party lines, and certainly has had the experience and the ability to do it. So he's somebody that I could see and understand why people would look at him, and he is the closest thing to a blue dog. He, of course, has now moved to the left because the party has moved to the left, and for that reason he has as well. The New Jersey delegation has been favorable towards Cory Booker because he's from New Jersey. I think this has a long way to go. I think we've got to hear a lot more, see a lot more, debate a lot more, and find out if at the end of the day these folks are as left as they're saying, or are they really going to move in the middle more where the vast majority of Americans are.
I asked you about this off camera, but I would like to revisit it if we could. There's a candidate who wants to be the Republican nominee to go against you, who has about $400,000 plus in the bank right now. Your reaction to his early fundraising efforts?
Well, this is something we knew from the beginning. I remember talking to you early on and other folks saying he is a self-funder. So this is an individual. His $400,000 comes from him and his family. It didn't come out asking people, would you please support me, and being humble. So he's going to raise money, I think, mostly from himself and maybe some money from his family as well. That's different than going out and really kind of working out there and getting people to obviously give to your campaign, number one. Number two, for the last decade, he has not lived in our district. Now, by law, you don't have to, but I sure think you should. And he's lived in Cherry Hill, and way back, about 10 years ago, and now he lives in Princeton. So he bought a summer home, I believe in Avalon, I'm not sure, but I believe in Avalon. And I don't know if my real down-to-earth, good South Jersey people that work 2 and 3 jobs, a lot of them, and are just real solid Americans, I don't know if a hoity-toity guy from Princeton who doesn't live here, doesn't know our area, really hasn't ever vacationed here, hasn't worked here, I don't think they think that's the answer for this area. I've walked the streets everywhere in my district. I've known the people, I've worked with the people, I've fought for South Jersey my entire political life, and I'm going to continue to do that.